So, everybody has different taste in music, right? What gets you moving, what gets you grooving may be very different than what gets me grooving. But it turns out that some good low frequency bass can actually make us want to dance up to 11% more, even if we can't hear it. What? I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. How can that be? We're going to find out more with Daniel Cameron, McMaster University neuroscientist. And Daniel, you were involved in this study, right?
I was, yeah.
So the first thing that goes through my head is if you can't hear it, but it makes you want to move, it must be because you can feel it.
That's a good thought, and that might be part of what's going on with this effect. Now, a critical thing we did in this experiment was at a concert, we had these extra low frequency speakers. So speakers that you wouldn't normally find. They can play really, really low bass. So you might have subwoofers as part of your stereo. These would be like subwoofers. They can play frequencies that we don't think people can generally hear. And we only turned them up a little bit. We didn't want this to like totally change the music. We didn't want to interfere with the musicians and what the concert goers were enjoying. So we just turned it up a little bit. And so people couldn't really tell that it was there. We checked this in a couple different ways. But what we think is going on is partly what you're suggesting, that people can feel it a little bit, not enough to notice, but we think that the body picks up on these really low frequencies through our tactile system, our sense of touch, and also through our vestibular system, which is our sense of balance, our inner ear. And we think that those systems kind of have this preferential access to these low frequencies and feeding those through to our motor system in our brain that controls our movement. So it kind of turns up the gain on our movements, gives us a little more energy when we added this extra low bass.
I'm thinking back to my clubbing days, and I'm remembering how some songs, like it would just immediately compel you to the dance floor. But then sometimes and usually it's because the bass beat would just like, you just got to move, right? But sometimes that bass would be so heavy, so strong, it vibrated your whole body in a way that wasn't pleasant and didn't make you want to dance necessarily, or it made you want to just get away from the how loud the music was and how much it was invading your body, if you will. So is there like sort of a happy medium? You have to find just that right level?
Yeah, we don't know for sure where that might be. Like for sure, any sound, whether it's really low frequency bass or even higher frequencies like the rest of the music, if you play it loud enough, I mean, it'll hurt your ears. It's too loud. We have laws about how loud this stuff can be. And so that goes for very low frequencies or very high frequencies. And we don't think that's what was going on here, that it was anything unpleasant for anyone. And we asked the people at the concert if they enjoyed it, and everyone said they did. They could, feel the bass, they could feel the music, but they didn't think there was anything different about this concert. And they didn't know we had these extra low speakers there. So they weren't aware we were doing it. They thought it was enjoyable and they could feel the bass in the usual way, which is a way most people said that they really enjoyed, and it made them want to dance more, but it was an enjoyable experience.
Okay, so they didn't know. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about how the study was conducted then. So they didn't know that what was being done, they just responded naturally to it?
Exactly, yeah. So there was this concert we were putting on. It's this electronic music duo, Orphix, from Ontario. They're fantastic, really great. They're, award-winning. They tour the world. And we were having a concert there, and the people who came to this concert they paid for tickets. They were concert goers. They liked this music. They were coming to dance. And while they were there, before going in the theater, we said, "Hey, do you want to volunteer for this experiment we're doing? All you have to do is fill out some questionnaires and put this little band on your head that has a motion capture sensor. And we've got infrared cameras all around the room in the theater, and so we could pick up on their movements and track them really precisely." And people were really happy to do this. They contributed to science by volunteering while enjoying a concert. And we didn't tell them what exactly the study was about. I think we said it was about music and movement or something very vague like that. And we had these extra low speakers, and we didn't tell the audience that they were there. The musicians knew we had them, but they didn't know when we were going to be kind of turning them on and turning them off. So we could control that ourselves without them having an awareness. So it wasn't the case that either the people in the audience said, "Oh, I can tell that there's more bass. I want to dance more," and made that conscious decision. It was an unconscious effect. But nor was it the case that the musician said, "Oh, I can tell that they turned on those speakers. Now let me kick up the rhythm and the other parts of the music to make people want to dance." So they were unaware of what we were doing. And that's important, that everything was kind of blind. So we knew that we had a kind of fair analysis there.
We're speaking with Daniel Cameron from McMaster University. He's a neuroscientist, and he led this study that shows that, low frequency bass can make us want to dance up to 11.8%, I think it was. Why do we respond to music the way we do? I mean, why is it stimulate, like as a neuroscientist, are you examining how it's stimulating our brain, or why do we respond the way we do?
Such a great question. And it's a really rich thing. Music, it's all kinds of things going on. We sometimes might think of it as just, it's just some sounds. Why does that make us, like it more? Why does that make us happy when we listen to music? And there's different things going on there, but we don't know this for sure. It's difficult to test, like what's the ultimate reason why we have music and dance. But we think that it's functional, that it's useful for us as a species, because we can modulate our emotions with it. It can make us feel better, and it can make us bond with one another. So a great example of this that you see, throughout history, throughout the world, is that we sing to our babies. We sing lullabies to try to relax them, to try to calm them down when they're upset, and to try to help them sleep. We move them, we bounce them along, and we sing to them in a particular way. And we also have all kinds of in-group songs. We sing songs about our favorite soccer team, or about our country, or about our our identity. And as we grow up and get, as teenagers, we might have our identity associated with a specific kind of music. People very into metal or punk or EDM or whatever it is. That's part of their kind of social experience as well. And we know that moving along to music, when you bounce along to the music, you bob your head or dance, when you're doing that with other people, you end up feeling more socially bonded with them, more connected with them. So that's one possible kind of application of this research that we were doing, is maybe by making people dance more, we might be able to see that they were more connected to one another, more socially bonded, more feeling good about one another afterward. We didn't test that here, but that's an interesting area we'd like to go in the future.
You kind of just anticipated my next question, which was like, could this be used, like I was thinking about the way we find solace in music when we're sad, the way it can make us happy, it can make us nostalgic, it can make us feel like every range of emotions that we feel as humans can be brought out, exacerbated, or made better by music. So is that the hope there, that somehow we'll be able to, make things better for ourselves through music?
Yeah, that's a good point. Music is really powerful. Now, this is just one small part of it, that when we added more bass here in this imperceptible way, people danced more. But it's an important part. Moving to music is a really natural part of musical experience and what we do as humans. We like to move along, even if it's subtle, just bobbing our head. It makes us feel the music a little differently. And we know from lots of research that people tend to enjoy the music more when they're moving along to it. So we think that, this has a real world effect, is what we showed here, and that by adding a little bit more bass, you could make people enjoy it a little more. Now, all the other things that go into our personal experience of any given song or a performance, like how familiar the music is, if we have a memory associated with that song, what the lyrics are telling us, who we're with, how many drinks we've had, all these complicated factors, they're all intersecting at the same time. So this is just one small part of that kind of rich set of ingredients that is the musical experience.
Okay, before I let you go, Daniel, I need to ask you a bit of a personal question, because you're a drummer. Obviously, you're a music lover. You're also a neuroscientist. What kind of music really does it for you, or what's your favorite kind of music?
Oh, I don't know. I like all kinds of music, and I like discovering new kinds of music. But when I think about what is the most kind of danceable music, what really makes me want to move my body, I think of Afrobeat. So, this Nigerian musician, Fela Kuti, in the 70s started this music. It's super rich, rhythmic, interlocking rhythms and intricate, interesting rhythms, and also these driving, repetitive, groovy bass lines that are a really heavy part of the music. So that's one that I really love.
Hey, thank you so much. What a pleasure. That's so interesting. Great to talk to you.
Thanks so much. Have a good day.
You too. That is Daniel Cameron at McMaster University. He's a neuroscientist. And again, this is really cool. Even if you can't hear it, it can make you want to dance. I feel like music is one of the things that, as he said, really bonds us as humans, right? It doesn't matter what kind you like, for whatever reason, it affects all of us in different ways.